For those of you who are not familiar with it, the Darien Gap is the border region between Colombia and Panama, and it is some of the most extreme topography on Earth. It is mountainous. It is very tropical. Bugs the size of your face. Everything wants to eat you. Everything's got thorns. Everything's poisonous. There's lots of rivers in there. There's a swamp the size of Delaware. And up until recently, it's been considered basically just trackless jungle. Trackless because nobody went through there. The first time that I went down to the Darien Gap, there were checkpoints along the way, and the border police would check your passport and your driver's license and take down your name and your date of birth and your description and all this. And I was like, I finally, after about the third time, I said, why do you guys keep checking every 10 kilometers the exact same information? And they said, so we'll know where to start looking when you disappear. At that time, the FARC, the Colombian terror group, FARC, was operating in the area of the Darien, and so it was a very, very lawless area, very dangerous. There were missionaries that went in there that were never heard from again, and it was bad. And so when I got to the end of the road, well, the last checkpoint, they asked us, where are you going? And we had been looking at the map. We wanted to go to the very furthest point that you could get on the map away from the United States. This is the Pan American Highway. If you drive from Alaska, you can drive all the way down through Central America, and you'll end up in Panama, and the road ends in the Darien Gap. That's why they call it the Darien Gap, because there's a gap there. There's no road that goes on to Colombia, for good reason. And we wanted to get to the very end of the road. So it forks down toward the end, and one goes to a town called La Palma, and one goes to a town called Yavisa. And we had looked at the map and thought, we should go to La Palma. So we told the last checkpoint, the police there, we're going to go to La Palma, and they noted that down. Then after we got driving again, one of our guys was looking at the map, and he said, I think actually Yavisa is the furthest point, so we should go there. And so, okay, we decided, changed our mind, and we went to Yavisa. And it was late at night. We got there about 9 o'clock at night. We pulled into Yavisa. It was like a Wild West saloon town. And we pulled in there and shut the car off, parked next to a gigantic truck with these massive logs they were pulling out of the jungle. And immediately when we shut the vehicle off, we were surrounded by border police with AK-47s in camouflage uniforms, and they arrested us. And we were like, what is going on? And they said, you're not supposed to be here. Nobody told us you were coming, so why are you here? Are you, drugs or what? And we were like, no, we just tourists. And they're like, no, tourists don't come here. We're like, well, we do, and we just wanted to see the end of the road. And they're like, come with us. So they took us to the police station, which looked like a, armed encampment. They had sandbag bunkers all the way around it, high chain link fence with razor wire, guys with machine guns in the bunkers, facing out. And we were like, what is going on? So they took us in there and they sort of interrogated us, and we just, we just wanted to explore and see what was down here. And they're like, yeah, no, you can't do that. So after a couple of hours, they determined that we were just idiots and not a threat. And so the chief of police came out and he said, look, FARC is constantly attacking this police station. That's why you see all the bunkers and sandbags and machine guns. And, so this is a very dangerous place. You should not be here. You can stay the night, but you have to leave at first light tomorrow and get out of here. And we said, okay, well, where do we stay? And he said, there's a hotel right down the street above the cantina. Just listen for the music. So we walked down the street, and sure enough, there's this, Panamanian típica music. Sounds like somebody strangling a cat and yodeling at the same time. So it's kind of like, "Ah!" It's not really good music. And it was blaring out of this cantina. We got there, and the top floor, the front of the building had fallen off, and so it was just like a pile of rubble. And you could see the hotel room because it only had 3 walls. One wall was open to the air, and there was no bed in there. There was just one hammock, and there was 3 of us. And we kind of looked at each other, and we were going, I sure hope there's someplace else to stay around here. So there was a drunk guy stumbling out of the cantina, and I asked him if there was anywhere else in town that we might stay. And he said, well, they're building a new hotel down the street around the corner, and I don't think it's open yet, but if you knock on the door across the street from the hotel, the owner lives there, and she might let you stay there. So we hustled down there. It was already like 11 o'clock at night. And even though it was that late and all the lights were off in the house across the street, I went ahead and banged on the door anyway because we were desperate. And after I banged on the door long enough, finally the door swings open, and there's this tall black lady standing there, very pregnant and very topless, nothing on from the waist up. And she just was like, what? And we're like, hi, we wanted to see if maybe we could stay in the hotel. And she reached over and grabbed a set of keys and threw them at me and slammed the door. And they were the keys to the hotel, to the gate that opened the entire hotel. So we got our pick of rooms. We went upstairs. Thank heaven, it was a brand new hotel. There were brand new rooms, and they had air conditioning. And it was so sweet. We were so glad. Right outside the front door, right outside the door of our hotel room that we chose was a bug, and I'm not kidding you, that it was a beetle about that big. I set my cell phone down next to the beetle, and it was the same size as the phone almost. And he promptly crawled up on my phone, and I think was either trying to call the Pentagon or mate with it or something. I don't know. So that was our adventure the first time I went to the Darien. It has gotten better since then because they've developed quite a bit more going down there.